Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will continue documenting the production process of the rock ballad. Today, we are going to finalize the mixing series and we are going to take a look at the mix bus and the automation of our mix coming up next right after this intro. If this is the first time you are visiting us, this channel is all about music production. Here, we want to share with you tips, tricks, information, and everything we can to help you make better songs. Currently, I am documenting the production process of a rock ballad. This is going to be the last video of the mixing series. You can go ahead and click on the link that's above here, and that's going to take you to the first video of the mixing series. You can also browse around in the channel, and you will find series on the recording process, the songwriting process, and also a previous series on how to make a rock song, also from start to finish. If you haven't done so yet, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications so that YouTube lets you know every time we have new content on this channel. And now, without further ado, let's jump into Pro Tools, take a look to what we're going to see today. Okay, so we are back in our session and pretty much we've covered vocals in the previous episode. We've covered synths and effects. Now we're going to take a look at the mix bus, and as you can see, it is quite simple. The first thing that I have is the famous SSL compressor, which is one of my recommended plugins, and the reason I like this one is because first, for what it does is, well, if you're listening to the mix and you feel like things are a little bit out of control, like one thing is there and the other one is all over the other side, this plugin sort of like packs nicely everything together. And it also adds a particular sound, affects, in my opinion, drums in a very particular way. And when you listen to this plugin for a while, you start to identify what it does to the song. And you also realize that that's a very typical sound of many rock records from the, I would say, early 2000s. I know, and I'm sure that it is still being used, particularly in rock music. And that's a sound that I like. I'm not using this time the analog simulation. It adds a little bit of noise, which is pleasant to the ear sometimes. And also, I will show you that I'm compressing is not very heavy compression that I'm adding. I like to compress in the mix bus up to 4 decibels just to pack everything nicely, but not have the compression affect the sound of the overall song, particularly the drums, because they have already been compressed. I don't want to compress them any more than that, and this is great. Now, the next plugin that I have is the Ozone 7, which I use to master songs. But in this case, what I'm trying to achieve is a good level of the mix. I want it to be around minus 11 decibels. And when mastering, I think it will go up to probably minus 9, minus 8 decibels. But this time, I'm just trying to achieve level. And I'm only using the maximizer functionality of Ozone. And I'm using the version 7. There's currently a higher version in the market right now. This is the one that I've been using for quite a while and it still works for me. And the maximizer, it's got different algorithms to maximize the sound. And I have tried them all and I have read in the manual what they're all about. And this one is the one that I use and is the one that I like the most. I set up the ceiling, which is what says here, the maximum output level that's going to have. Let's say if there's a peak, it's not going to be above minus 0.5 decibels. And with this threshold, this sets the level from which the maximizer, as it says there, is going to start affecting the sound. So let's take a listen with and without it. And, just adding level, as you can hear, and this this algorithm here, because I have tried them all, is the one that I like the most. I think it adds, or it makes the song sound a little bit more aggressive, and that's why I like it, because these are all different. And that would be it. That's all I have in the mix bus. That's how I would print a mix and send it over to mastering, or master it myself, or do some e-mastering. Now, for the automation, what I have here is I use my beloved friend, the fader port, to automate these tracks. And what I do is first I start with the drums, and what I'm trying to achieve is to make them sound a little more natural, because these are programmed drums and they are also compressed. So I would say that there are, the dynamics are diminished. And what I'm trying to do is bring back that dynamic, that movement that natural drums have. And the way I do that is just imagining what a drummer would do. So, for example, the first strike when they're going to enter into the chorus is going to be harder than the other ones. And I try to emphasize that, as you can see here, with the kick and the snare. And I also do that with the overheads, and I also accentuate the crashes when they are not very perceivable. And this is what I do all the way throughout the song. I have a more detailed video about this, but I wanted to show you what I did here. And other thing that I'm automating here is the reverb of the snare in the quieter parts. If there's a part that is quieter, for example, the pre-chorus in this case, where we have less instrument sounding, I increase the volume or the level of the reverb so that, to hear that reverb effect when the snare is being hit, which is pretty nice. Let's take a listen. Now, it is a pretty subtle effect. Let's take a listen in solo. So it makes it sound bigger. But the problem is that in the context of the mix, when there are many other instruments, it's going to sound muddy. So I automate it to make it sound more bigger, or with more space, only during this part in which we have less instruments and less things going on. So I follow that, accentuate hits and hard parts in the drums with the snare, the kick, and the overheads. If I need to, I would correct things that maybe I believe are quieter, or if I want to enhance something, some part, I would do that. I don't see that I did that here, but the idea is to make the drums in general terms sound more natural and take advantage of that reverb effect whenever I can. For the bass, I'm following the exact same approach. I am accentuating those, parts when you just hit the bass real hard at the entrance of the song or at the beginning of a section. This is what I'm doing here. Basically, when the chorus comes in, I'm accentuating those parts. And also the instrumental part is being a little bit more accentuated as well. And I follow that same method with the rhythm guitars. Big hit, just accentuated. And also with the lead guitars, some parts are being accentuated to give it more dynamics, not making it too flat dynamically speaking. Now for the vocals, I do a few things. For example, this part here, the ending of a phrase, the volume of the vowel goes down, so I'm raising it to correct that, because the compressor didn't do enough good job, I would say. So I tried to correct that. Now in the verses or in the chorus, if there are words that for some reason are not loud enough and you cannot hear them, well, I bring the volume up a little bit for those words. That's pretty much it. Other automation that I'm doing is, for example, in the third chorus, we have this, I would say, vocal part. Let's take a listen. Dios, enamorado de ti para siempre. So I have the main vocal, the doubles, and the harmonies, but I wanted to listen to hear more of the harmonies because they were whispered, but I couldn't hear them quite well, and I wanted to hear more of them in this part, so I just automated them up so I could hear more of it. That's basically what I did. Now for the synths, I didn't do much to them. Because the pads are just there to reinforce the sound, so the pads don't have much, but the arpeggiator is a different story. So I'm going to show you what's happening here in the instrumental bridge part of the song, and you'll see that I am automating the arpeggiator so that when the vocals come up, the volume of the arpeggiator goes down, and vice versa, because I really like the way the arpeggiator was sounding during the bridge, but I didn't want that effect to drown the vocals. So I fixed that with automation. Let's take a listen. If you listen carefully, you will notice that change in volume. And actually, the arpeggiator is louder in this part than other sections in the song. So that's one thing that I did. Nothing else is automated for the synths. And then I'm also automating effects, as I showed you, for example, the reverb for the snare. I am also automating the delay for the vocals. Let me show you the level of the delay, and I will show you in solo so you can listen to what I try to achieve. And it is basically in a quieter part, so you could feel also the vocals bigger, and just a more sense of space and delay, and the delay effect itself, more like a special effect during that part that would make the words sound deeper. Let's take a listen.
Y poder descansar en el mejor lugar en el universo.
So that's a special effect. And there's another part here also in the bridge. Take a listen how that first phrase sounds deeper, sounds more interesting than the rest of the words because of this automation.
En ti todo es nuevo. En ti soy un.
So that's a way you can use automation to enhance vocals, to deliver a message and make it sound more emotional, more interesting. And that's what I was trying to achieve here with this vocal. Apart from that, I don't have any other additional automation. So that would be it. I hope that these tips and information helps you make better songs. Okay, so let me know in the comments below what you think about the process that I followed, the plugins in the mix bus chain, also the automation process that I'm following. As always, I'm very interested in learning from your ideas, as well as other viewers will be interested and will also learn from your comments. If you were able to learn something or take something out from this video, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That way you will be supporting us and we can continue making more videos and content like this. This was the last video of the mixing series. We have finalized the whole mixing process. Now, what I'm going to do is just basically print the song and get it ready to master. It could be either that I send it away or do it myself, but I would print that track as we have mixed so far. In the next video, we will continue then documenting this process of making this rock ballad, and we are going to master the song and get it ready to be uploaded to the digital platforms. So stay tuned to the channel, don't miss it out, and I will see you guys in the next episode.